Welcome to be playing Wipeout while Annalise and I hang out, and we're just going to goof off and talk about stuff, which is what we do of a Thursday night.
Yes, indeed.
After the stream, which is quite fun.
It is.
And we decided to call ourselves, to call this stream the Deep Impacted Stream. After, oh, that was
Sorry.
weird. You created Infinity.
I almost created them.
Alright, let's see if the usual suspects show up. I'm sure they will.
Yes, indeed. At least a few of them.
Ow, ow, ow.
Really tired after
I
the
think
film.
today is a bit of a tired kind of a day.
It is. I
It's
don't
one.
know
It's one of
why.
those. It's absolutely fine.
It is, but I don't know why everyone's so tired.
I think there's just residual tired. I mean, I'm about to have my second jab tomorrow, so I'm probably going to be quite tired tomorrow.
Yes, well, at least you're doing it on a Friday, so you'll have the whole
Ah. It's far too tired today. Yeah. But it may be one of those days where you're just kind of irrationally tired, and you don't have an ability to kind of pinpoint it on having done a particular thing.
Yes, I can't figure out why I'm so tired. Today the weather was quite enjoyable.
It was nice. Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
I didn't work ridiculously hard. And yet I
I think it's a cumulative thing, you know. I think it's the stuff.
Case in point.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm doing Wipeout again because that's just a thing that I do now.
I'm kind of on the move because of where is here? I'm kind of on the move because of an emergency that done happened during the stream and just finished there. Oh,
Oh,
everything's
I hope
okay.
everything's okay.
I'm a bit sad that I missed the stream. Well, the stream was really funny. The movie,
Yeah, it was Face Off. I don't know if you get big on Face Off or anything, but
not to my taste, shall we say.
I was fully willing to give it a second go.
Me too.
Because we tried to watch it a couple of years ago and we were like, no, this is dumb and just kind of strange.
I mean, it was certainly more amusing with the guys because.
Right.
But that was because of them, not the movie.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Oh, gosh, well, I hope he's okay. I hope he's doing better.
Yeah.
Speedy recovery.
Gotta be careful out there.
Okay,
Well, thank goodness, but
like I said,
you know.
speedy recovery.
Well, much love to the Allens. If he's an Allen, I suppose he isn't an Allen, but
Well,
yeah,
Allen
much love to the Stephen Allen clan, and hope he's all right.
yes, indeed. Yes,
Very
indeed.
sorry to hear that.
But,
Yeah, it's
Well, our time
driving and drivers. You know, I'm no fan particularly.
He's a moron, to be honest. He's not an Allen.
He's okay. All right.
Sorry to insult the good Allen name. The good Stephen Allen name. Again, if you make it to the
Ah.
Super Valverde event, if that ends up happening, you're gonna have to wear a cheeseburger shirt. It's the only way we're gonna know who you are.
The good Allen name. That just makes me think of the good shit Lollipop.
This is what he gets for thinking he can still drive like he's in the military police. Oh.
Interesting. Was he an MP? The other kind of MP.
Yeah. Yes, the other kind of thing.
Yeah, the good ship. That's my favourite piece of dialogue from TNG Season 1, which is Arsenal of Freedom, when Riker meets his kind of clearly not a computer simulation old friend. I'm going to buy everyone's burgers, that's how you know. Okay, nice, alright. Nice touch. Ah! Fell off.
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with that. I like burgers.
But yeah, in TNG Season 1, Arsenal of Freedom, he tries to trick the computer by going, you know, I'm on the starship Lollipop.
Oh god, I love
And it's a new ship, it's just been commissioned, it's a good ship. And his friend doesn't snicker, and he goes, what is the armament of the Lollipop? It's funny, it's good.
Oh, I love that. He was an MP back in like 94.
Let's see.
Well, some habits die hard, I suppose.
Rockets.
Well, I'm glad to hear he's okay.
Yes, indeed.
Starship bloody lollipop with beardless Riker.
Riker.
There is, yeah, that is the period of beardless Riker.
That was just a mistake.
Alright, I think we need to talk, with no spoilers, we need to talk Falcon Winter Soldier and what we've seen of Loki so far, without talking any spoilers, because that's the current thing.
Are you capable of not talking spoilers?
I think so. I
Hi,
think
John.
I'm learning. John, hello.
See,
Welcome.
This is the party for people that missed the stream.
This is the tired stream. I think we're doing the tired stream today. I've called it Deep Impacted because that was one of the jokes. It was one of the jokes. I don't know how that came up. Just poo things, I think. Because of course it did. But yes, Annalise, what did you think of Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I mean, it's a rather generic opinion. I quite enjoyed it. Obviously, all of the Marvel series look brilliant. I think it's kind of redundant to comment on the quality of the effects, the quality of the sets, obviously. But it's just the two main characters have such great chemistry. Our Falcon and Winter Soldier. They have a good buddy cop thing going.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the villain was terrible, but amazingly there was enough left in the show after you take out the main villain.
It's a Marvel series.
Yeah. There was amazingly enough left in the series after you removed the main villain that was still quite fun.
That seems to be Marvel's usual thing, is like, boring villain, who cares?
I mean, DC has always been known for having better villains than Marvel.
Yeah. But it's a trope that they seem to be willing to endlessly and repeatedly play into.
I mean,
They're like, that's our thing. Forgettable villain.
Loki was actually... I'm enjoying the styling of Loki.
Yeah.
It's a very stylistic series. And it's funny. I think I'd still pick Winter Soldier as my favorite.
I think so too. I think the issue for me with Loki, thus far, no spoilers.
We haven't finished the last episode.
We haven't finished finished it. My issue overall with Loki as a series, just at the concept, there is it's just a lot of borrowed ideas and a lot of just derivative stuff that I've seen before in other things. Without, I can't name them because that would give stuff away.
Yeah.
But just things, stuff that we've seen before, and it didn't. It doesn't feel like it's quite enough of an original thing. Now, I don't know if the plot that takes place in Loki is something that happens in a comic somewhere, whether it's previously, maybe that's or if it's a completely original story for this. Do you have any idea about that for the series?
About
whether the whole sort of premise of the Loki series, was that a comic at some point? Is that an issue of a comic?
I believe it was, but don't quote me on that one.
Okay.
Usually I'm quite well versed on what's in the comics.
Usually these things are, like, obviously Infinity War it came out in the 90s, didn't it?
Loads of it is referencing the comics. There's loads of references.
Sure.
In there, but I don't know how much of it is directly.
But it clearly feels, I don't know. When I think of, if you were to ask me what a Loki series, a TV series about the character Loki would be, I don't know that what they've made is what I would necessarily think they would do.
No, but I know what they're trying to set up, so...
Yeah, and that's the issue, is it's there to set up other stuff as well, which is what all of the Marvel stuff is there to do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Everything is a big trailer for everything else.
Yeah. Stephen Allen has asked if we've seen Daredevil, because Wilson Fisk is the best villain in Marvel by a mile.
Oh, as in... Actually, I may have seen Daredevil.
Did you? The series?
Oh, not the series, sorry.
Yeah, no.
I saw the terrible Ben Affleck movie from... Oh no, I'm sorry, Ryan... No, was it? No, it was Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner as Elektra, right?
I have no idea. But I believe he's talking about the series.
Okay. No, I have not seen that.
I didn't watch that phase of Marvel series, and from what I've
As in,
analysis, oh no. And I believe that phase isn't canon anymore. So that kind of just spoils the fun of it for me, to be honest. Not that I need it to be canon, but the fact that it was, and then they just decided it wasn't. I just kind of lost interest in it for that reason.
Did they jettison like Agents of Shield as well? Is that not canon now?
Or at least there was talk of it. I'm not sure where they came down. Let's see. It was Ben Affleck for the film, which was garbage.
It was pretty bad.
The whole Marvel, and then John says the whole Marvel DC thing kind of comes me by.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I like watching the movies. It's a low commitment as far as fandoms go. Marvel is actually a relatively low commitment. If we're just talking, I shouldn't say Marvel, it should be MCU. If we're talking comics, it's a massive commitment.
I was gonna say,
as
like
someone
a
who
bajillion
doesn't
characters.
read the comics, I enjoy reading all the wikis to know all the background.
That's a fun rabbit hole to go down. Yeah.
It's just a fun rabbit hole to do on Saturday. But
or when you're supposed to be working, which is what I usually do.
As far as fandoms go, the MCU is actually a pretty low commitment fandom, in that if you think about how many hours of Doctor Who there are and how many hours of Star Trek there are, even if you want to sit down and watch all 24 movies of the MCU, I'm not actually sure if that counts as one, that's still relatively...
It's about that many, yeah.
Yeah, that's still relatively low.
Right. If you want to just go through all those, and there's not much other ancillary material. Like, I suppose if you really care, you can watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., although Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is quite loosely tied in that it's got characters from the other stuff, but it's not,
they rebooted Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now it's more cosmic. Yeah,
what?
They're definitely taking the next wave into the cosmic multiverse side of comics.
Oh no. So it's going to turn into Stargate?
Nah, not quite.
Or Sliders?
It's a bit more like... I would say think more Ragnarok. It's a bit more trippy.
Okay.
I don't know, I think it could go one of two ways. It's either going to be really terrible, or it's going to be actually interesting. I know why they're doing it. They want to make sure that this next phase is very different from the massive novel they just closed off. They don't want it to just be a continuation. This is meant to be quite different. And one of the best ways to do that is to start veering into the really trippy side of the comics, which they kind of only dabbled in. Kind of dipped their toes in.
So what's the... Okay, are there other comic studios other than Marvel and DC?
Oh yeah, loads. It's just,
Isn't there Dark Horse Comics? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I don't know that Dark Horse does too much, and I could be wrong here. No one crucify me if I am. I don't believe that Dark Horse does too much superhero stuff, or at least not superhero as we think of it. They do other forms of comics. I know. I mean, I mostly anything I've bought for Dark Horse has been Avatar Last Airbender and Korra.
Yeah, obviously Richard likes...
But they do loads of original stuff too. That's just what I bought.
Richard likes 2000 AD, and that's that's a big British comic strip. Sorry, not strip, comic.
Steven says Daredevil is actually pretty solid, dark. First season kind of goes, there's nothing special about this guy, and every time he goes out to fight the bad guys, he's killing himself doing it. Season 2 is kind of crap. Season 3, return of form. Don't bother with Defenders, it's not worth your time. Daredevil gets really Catholic.
Okay, Catholic. Oh yeah, because it is quite... It's got kind of religious overtones, Daredevil. I remember that in the original film. I think there's a big fight in a church. I seem to remember.
Steve Allen says, yeah, there's Dark Horse, IDW.
IDW, okay,
Image,
yeah.
Boom Comics, so...
IDW, the IDW, I'm aware of IDW. I can't remember what it stands for, but they do quite a lot of Star Trek comics. They're the ones that do kind of... You know, the J.J. Abrams movies meet the Star Trek The Next Generation, and they have an adventure together, or I don't know. Here's a prequel comic that sets up Star Trek Into Darkness or some shit.
Now there are hundreds. I mean, I would venture to say hundreds of comic studios. just not, you know,
Chaos Comics top.
the massive
Right,
ones.
but Marvel and DC are the only ones that are regularly making movies, I guess.
Yeah.
Or have original
about,
characters that are that famous.
Yeah. I've heard about the Sandman movie. I'm actually kind of interested.
Is Sandman the... Oh, God. This really is the tired stream.
It really
is Sandman...
sorry.
As in, like, Neil Gaiman's Sandman?
I assume, yes. It is believed, I believe it's not
Or the Spider-Man villain? Played by...
It's meant to be the Neil Gaiman.
Played by Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah, main character of Daredevil, Matt Murdock. He's an Irish-American, blind, and is raised as a Catholic in an orphanage after his dad died.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Remember that now.
I actually kind of want to... Apparently
People respect Neil Gaiman. He's a thing. He wrote an episode of Babylon 5, of course. He wrote the Day of the Dead one.
There's actually a
Oh dear. Nearly fell off the edge, sorry.
I like when you do that.
When I freak out,
Yep.
I do that a lot.
There's actually a Sandman... I guess it's an audiobook? I don't know if you can still call it an audiobook when someone reading a comic.
Oh,
That has
interesting.
a crazy good cast.
Oh, so it's like a dramatized audio performance, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to love those. I used to read. I used to have quite a lot of tapes of those. The BBC used to produce them. I'm in one. I was in a BBC dramatization once as a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fun.
As a singer, I was in. My choir got asked to come and do some little songs for a lovely little BBC Christmas play called The Red Balloon.
Aw, cute.
And we did, it had original songs that were written by one of the playwright kind of playwright musical composer guys. And so yeah, it was really fun. We ended up doing several days in. I spent my whole half term in the now gone BBC Manchester studios.
That was fun.
It was really great. It was really fun. Here's something else. I was around the right age where I was obsessed with fucking Star Trek. That was when the first wave really hit me of Star Trek love, and that's when I was starting to invent my own ships. I was starting to invent my own characters in my head. And I don't know if you know this, but recording studio places are very, very, very soundproofed, and all of the studios are obviously internal to keep away from all the traffic noise because it was right next to Oxford Road in Manchester.
Yes.
So nothing is facing externally. All of the studios are deep within the building, right? So all the corridors looked exactly like the Enterprise inside.
Cool.
So I'm walking around the Enterprise in my mind. It was so cool. I really enjoyed it.
Let's see. That's the first gaming thing I was into was the TV show Neverwhere.
Yep, my cousins bought me the book of that, and I got about 20-30 pages into it and just could not understand what was happening. I don't think I knew what fantasy that sort of stuff was about. It was a little beyond me. Go on.
Apparently Stephen had a couple of run-ins with Gaiman.
Oh, did
When
he?
I worked in comics, I had a couple of run-ins with him where I can't say I had a positive reaction.
Why am I not surprised? Oh.
He's apparently from big Scientology family.
Oh no, is he?
Apparently.
Oh god.
I gather a lot of people that like his stuff make a point of separating the man from the...
I see. I.e., like every Wagner lover,
Yeah.
or every, I don't know what,
It's a pretty long
Woody
list.
Allen or Bill Cosby fan.
Oh gosh. Bill Cosby might be pushing me a little bit.
Is anybody still a Bill Cosby fan at this point?
I mean, no one
There are
would-
people that died still being Bill Cosby fans,
Yeah.
not knowing what happened.
Oh, his dad is the guy who's popular. Oh.
Okay. I think I heard about this. Yes, this is vaguely ringing a bell. Gosh.
Like his dad was one of the first guys to bring Scientology to the UK.
Oh. Funnily enough, there is also a Scientology shop in Manchester. There is a little Church of Scientology thing, it's on Deansgate. I used to go by there quite a lot because I lived not too far from there. In my 4th year of my undergrad. Yeah, we did 4 years there. No. At the college I went to, there was 4. Most... Okay, so universities are 3. But the college I went to was 4.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
Which means people that were on the joint course had 3 years of doing both, being crunched, like our friends we went to see. And then the last year is extra.
Okay. I was just confused because I was really sure that here it was 3 years.
One of the things you'll notice if you meet him is that he does... Oh, no, he does that fucking staring thing. Okay, the Scientologists are all about that. You know, that they stare at you.
Wait, that's a thing?
Oh, yeah, that's a thing that they do.
Why?
Intimidation, and also they think they're contacting your inner thetans or whatever bullshit.
Stay away from my thetans.
You don't have thetans, they don't exist.
I mean, I know.
You know the internal mythology of Scientology, right?
Yes.
We don't have to go into it here, but you are aware that it's this mad bollocks about aliens being killed by being thrown into volcanoes and their souls floating out and going into us. I mean, it's completely deranged bollocks.
Does Neil Gaiman think that his books and comics are
I don't know if he's that nuts.
I was mostly kidding.
Who else is a big Scientologist? Is it Peaches Geldof? Or it was Peaches Geldof when she was still alive. Bob Geldof's daughter. Oh no. Please don't do that. Please don't get Olivia Vandergrift by your laptop. That's a really obscure reference.
I'm sure.
What, Steven said there?
His family are still big Scientologists, but he doesn't know if Neil Gaiman himself is still practicing or not. But he's been raised.
Yeah.
Beck and Bart Simpson's voice actor.
Dan Castellaneta.
Nancy Cartwright.
And that, oh, okay. Okay, sorry. Nancy Cartwright. Beck, as in like the singer Beck? I like Beck. That's disappointing. It's one of those things that does the rounds in sort of Hollywood where people are very, very desperate and or, you know, intelligent but not... They don't have very good bullshit detector software installed on their brains, you know? I don't want to call them dumb, because it's not.
Okay, I'm gonna read this.
Okay.
And then we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Because we're getting into Danger Will Robinson.
Danger Will Robinson, okay.
Sean just said the Scientologists were laughed at by a friend of mine for being weird. My friend is a Latter-day Saint.
Okay, not touching that.
Nope.
Yeah, not touching that.
Nope.
Beck was raised a Scientologist. Was he? He was raised a Scientologist. That's so bizarre that something invented has now got a whole generation of people that were raised in it.
Yeah.
Granted, I think he distanced himself from the search because he enjoyed drugs.
I mean...
Will Smith is meant to be a closet Scientologist.
I love the idea of a closeted Scientologist.
I mean, I suppose you don't have to be open, but Scientology really likes to get celebrities to promote their cause. That's one reason why they got Tom Cruise so involved. That was actually a strategic thing.
Apparently that was just a 4chan.
A which?
Will Smith. A 4chan.
Okay. I thought it was true, but I could be wrong. I thought I'd heard that from other things, but Kirstie Alley, of course. Savick from Wrath of Khan. She's a big Scientology person. John Travolta, who we just saw. I'm trapped in the clouds. Oh my god!
That movie was just woeful. Even with the commentary, even with it on mute and just listening to the commentary, I had a really hard time getting through that movie.
I know, I was getting very distracted. I was starting to look up the cast on IMDb. and I was just kind of browsing the internet and reading Wikipedia articles on famous explosions.
I kept asking questions in the comments and people were saying, "Stop asking so many questions."
Were they telling you off?
Jokingly.
Yeah.
All in jest. It was a...
Meaning, like, don't question it too
Don't
much.
question
I
it.
see,
Stop
I see, I see, I
questioning
see.
It's like, but...
Giovanni Ribisi.
Why are there so many birds in the church? Don't they realize that faces have connective tissues?
I mean, to be fair, that makes about as much sense as most of the Doctor on Voyager's cures for things, where he just goes, I sutured his face back together with some,
Yes, but at least...
analgesic cream.
Yes, but at least then it's implied that the combination of future technology...
It's super future, yeah.
And the Doctor assuming that everyone is dumber than him and won't understand what he actually did.
Sure.
So he's not really explaining
Sure.
it.
That's a good point.
This movie was pretending to be present day with just regular Pokemon Doctor.
Human.
And they show what he does. It's not like in Star Trek where it's we use this special
A
thing
magical
from this
scanny
setting.
dog.
Yeah,
Scanny
he
device.
just cut his face, cut around his face with a scalpel like it was a sticker, and then picked it up. That's not how that works.
Right. Vulcans don't suit perms. That's very funny.
The Vulcans get perms in Search for Spock?
Savik's got like a mad 80s perm, yeah.
Oh lord.
She's at the beginning where they introduce her and it's like a completely different actress. She goes, just like your father, so human. And that's a quote from the last one to tell us that that's Savik. You know. Because that's the thing, is only one of those characters has changed actress. It's still Merritt Buttrick as David.
Half the time they do that, they do actor changes, and I genuinely don't realize it's meant to be the same character.
Right.
Mostly because I'm so bad with names that even when they say the name of the character.
What is it? Robin Curtis is the one in Search for Spock. I actually quite like her as Savick, I have to say.
In Iron Man, when they changed the actor who plays Brody,
Oh, yeah.
I genuinely did not realize. I mean, these have been so many years between the two films, and I forgot the character's name. I genuinely did not realize it was supposed to be the same person.
Mines. Cannon.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're pretty... Compared to how many course changes something like Babylon 5 had to make, I think the MCU were pretty lucky that that didn't happen very much.
No, they were very lucky in that regard, but...
Other than, I guess, General Man from the Hulk movie being played by the same actor who then later ends up being Secretary of State guy in Civil War and, I guess, also Black Widow. Yes, fair enough.
Plasma.
Black Widow. I did manage to save, so story time. Last week I managed to spill an entire, full iced latte on my keyboard of my Mac. Whole thing. Whole damn thing. Unfortunately I managed to turn it upside down quickly enough and leave it there.
Oh,
that it was
Jesus.
actually still functioning perfectly fine 2 days later when I brought it in to get it repaired.
You don't want it to suddenly just go...
Yes, exactly.
Just
But the
crap
reason I'm
out.
telling this story is I did manage to save our Black Widow commentary.
Oh, good.
I couldn't save it as an audible, as a, what's this software? Audacity file, but I saved both an MP3 and a WAV.
Oh, good, okay.
So I still
So
have it.
we can just re-import it and edit it that way, I guess.
Yes, it has been saved. So, yes, that's why that hasn't been uploaded.
Yeah, David Warner is the guy you're thinking about, with the Klingon Chancellor, and also... He's also the Cardassian... Not only that, he's in the previous film. He's in the Final Frontier as like a washed-up drunk guy that they find on that planet. He's meant to be some kind of ambassador or something. David Warner, yeah. No, he's kind of a Star Trek institution, that guy. He plays Chancellor Gorkon. it end this way, Captain? He's in The Omen as well. He's quite a... Oh yeah, he's in Titanic, I forgot. He's one of the henchmen of the Billy Zane character, isn't he? He just looks like he's permanently wearing a really sullen face.
Wait, Frakes plays another Riker in DS9?
Yeah, we watched it. It's the episode where his transporter clone comes back. And then rips off his sideburns at one dramatic point to say, "Oh, it's not Riker, it's goatee Riker."
Yeah, goatee Riker. Thomas
And he
Riker,
steals
yeah.
the Defiant.
Okay, alright, there it is.
Ooh, itchy head. And itchy back. Alright, there we go.
You're not allowed to have that.
I am.
Wait, who does an also does an excellent reading for the audiobook of The Haunting of Hill House. Wait, who does that?
That could be either Frakes or David Warner. I'm guessing it would probably be more David Warner's thing to do audiobooks.
John, which one is it? Which one is it that you mean?
Yeah. That's kind of a British actor thing to do, is because like Rufus Sewell does them, and David Warner. There you go.
Ah,
yeah.
okay. I was gonna say I want to listen to an audiobook read by Frakes. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if Frakes really does that sort of thing.
I don't think he does, but I want Riker to read me stories. That sounds great.
Shirley Jackson, the only writer to make me terrified of ghosts and mental illness.
I mean, I feel like those are reasonably common things to be terrified already. Of already. Oh god, I didn't know that.
That's okay. I think it's just one of those days where I think all of the rushing around is catching up with us a little bit.
Yeah.
We've been all over the place. I was in London all of last week and doing stuff, and you were following me around doing stuff as well.
So
We had quite a few late nights recently where we were gallivanting around and having fun, but
well, we were actually having fun again, but we were being responsible. Masks,
obviously,
sanitizer,
yeah.
vaccine,
all of that
distance, all that.
distancing.
But at least we were actually able to have fun.
Gilbert Gottfried doing the 50 Shades of Grey audiobook. What?
It's a joke.
Please tell me that's true. Oh my god, Gilbert Gottfried would have been an amazing Ferengi. Imagine Zazu, the parrot from Aladdin,
Yeah.
as a Ferengi. Zazu! That guy. Gilbert Gottfried has one of those kind of aggressively nasal voices that it's really, really hard to do a good impersonation of.
Cannon.
No, apparently someone named
Becca
Becca
Botto. Okay.
Very, very close on Becca.
It's just a sketch. Okay. Oh, we're gonna have to look that up. That sounds pretty great.
Oh, wait! No, yep, I've heard this sketch. I remember this now, it's hilarious. Coming to me. I will play it for you later.
Please do.
You will not. Look at the... Oh god, I'm looking at the stills from it. Remember it. Oh, it's too good. Too good.
50 Shades of Grey is just awful.
I think there's an entire 15 minutes
Oh no! Christian Grey was a rich man and he liked to fuck his employees.
of it.
I mean, that's what I imagine the level of the writing is.
Yeah. Oh, trust me for it.
I mean, wasn't it fanfic?
It was originally a Twilight fanfic.
It's a Twilight fanfic that was also made into a movie. Oh dear. And it's quite clear that the two main leads like hated each other and could not get along on set.
You remember in a book because 50 Shades of Grey. I
Because of it? or was she inspired by the story, or was she just that angered by it that she decided to write a protest book?
I have questions. Non-judgmental questions, but questions all the same.
Indeed.
Mostly the subject of said book. My mom is now a published author, thanks to being inspired by 50 Shades of Grey, and it was based on her own Twilight fanfiction.
Interesting. I won't ask whether it involves any BDSM.
I feel like by saying you're not asking.
I'm not asking it, but I won't say I'm not curious.
But the thought is there. The thought is in your mind.
The thought of somebody's mum writing just did the same thing. She wrote Twilight fanfiction, but did it have the BDSM twist? Is the question, because that's kind of the thing. Oh no! I'm so sorry, Stephen.
Oh, you have our deepest sympathy.
Oh dear. Oh no.
I mean, good on her for getting published, but I don't.
Pursue your dreams, kids. You can do anything.
That's just not a thing I would want to.
Oh, so many ellipses on that comment.
Oh. Like I said, kudos to her for getting published. Just it's just the idea of oh god, I don't have to explain. I don't think I have to explain.
Yep. Well, I mean, the idea of your parents having sex is bad enough.
Yeah.
The idea of knowing what your parents' sexual fantasies are,
No.
that's possibly worse. Oh, you haven't read it. I have. I'm so sorry.
Okay, did you read it by choice or were you forced?
Well, did she show it to you? Yeah.
I feel like this is the kind of
Oh
thing
no.
that you do quietly and not tell your family. Well, maybe tell your, like, some of your family, but maybe not your child.
Oh gosh. Like,
Oh, she
asked me to proofread it.
Oh, it just gets worse. Send the link to the Amazon store.
Amazing. She didn't tell me the fucking subject matter. Oh god, I'm crashing my car a lot 'cause this is too funny.
Oh god. You have our deepest sympathy. Oh, God.
Incredible. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is were there a lot of mistakes? That's what I want to know.
That's the question.
That's my question. No, seriously.
How many commas did she make?
Yeah, did she ever run on sentences or dangling participles or anything like that?
There was something dangling, but it was not the part.
Sorry, yeah, something dangling.
I'm sitting there on the train reading my mom's sexual fantasies about how she wants to get it done.
Oh fuck. I mean,
oh my god. Oh,
might get awkward when you read your mother's writing about rimming. Oh, that's a one sentence nightmare right there. That's a one sentence horror story. Thanks, John Smith. Good work. Cock is. Okay, Stephen, you're gonna kill us if you keep this going up.
Please,
It's just cock. That's incredible. Oh, I think we needed that.
Oh god, yes.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oh.
Oy vey.
That's one of the better laughs I've had in a long time. I'm sorry.
Cock is spelt C-O-K.
I'm sorry about the suffering that has gone into our laughter, Stephen.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Well, what is comedy except other people suffering? Quite. That's what makes the best funny stories, is somebody else having a bad time on the toilet or you know, doing something embarrassing at work or something like that. Somebody else's pain.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's also how you, you know, what's the word? Expunge your shame with it.
Oh god, because I love my mom to bits. First, I love my mom to bits. But when she writes about... I can't. You have to
Okay,
write that.
okay.
I'm
When she
gone.
writes,
I'm gone.
when she writes about manacles and how she wants to get ravaged by Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh god, I'm sorry. I knew I wouldn't be able to get through that without cracking.
Ravaged.
I would
Ravaged.
crack. This is the entire premise for one of the most popular podcasts online. My dad wrote a porno. I love that podcast. I love that podcast.
Have you listened to that?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
When did you listen to it? Have you told me about that recently?
Oh no, I listened to this ages ago. Have you not heard My Dad Wrote a Porno?
No.
Oh, we're listening to My
Okay.
Dad Wrote a Porno.
Bring that up so we can listen to it after the stream.
Yes, we're absolutely listening to that tonight. It's so good.
My dad wrote a porno.
Oh gosh. Okay,
Cannon.
John, help me. What's the... God, I'm trying to think of how to introduce him to My Dad Wrote a Porno. Should I just play the first one? Let's see. There's 6 seasons of it.
Oh Jesus! How much porno did he write? Or do they just go on to discuss other things?
John, if you have any recommendations for which one I should play him as the first My Dad Wrote a Porno, I cannot for the life of me remember. Okay, just start from the beginning. Okay, we'll just start from the beginning. Oh god, it's funny shit.
There are some great podcasts, yeah. Mr. HEC!
Hello.
Hello!
Oh, you've missed...
What a time to join the stream.
Oh.
Thanks for coming, Mr. HEC.
Stephen Allen has been regaling us.
We
with
have
his
been
suffering.
having some stories.
Okay, Stephen Allen was telling us a wonderful story, and from that, John mentioned the wonderful podcast My Dad Wrote a Porno, which is a...
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to that podcast, it is quite funny. So no, we are not just talking about porn, we are talking about a podcast that happens to be called My Dad Wrote a Porno.
But we can also talk about porn later.
Or not.
We can get into porn
Or we
later.
could not.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Except we could not.
Why not? What's wrong with porn?
Because...
Does not compute. It's fine.
Error.
Error.
John says, nope, the author has written about 12 books so far of his heroine Belinda and her sexy adventures in the pots and pans industry.
What? The pot... What?
Just go with it. Go with it. Just go with it.
Do you know what that means?
Go with it.
And I mean, is that what the guy does for a living and he's trying to, like, make his work more exciting by imagining sex adventures in
I'm
it?
just going to play you the podcast.
Okay.
We're just going to listen to some of the podcast.
Pots and pans industry. I mean, I can't imagine too many less sexy industries than that.
Wait, she got you to illustrate the cover, Steven.
I might need to go find the book. She told me. Can you read us some? Can you type us out some choice quotes as well? That would be amazing. If it wouldn't.
Yeah,
if
nothing
it,
that's gonna get us banned from YouTube.
True,
forever,
true.
please.
But also, well, nothing that's going to get Steven banned. But also maybe stuff that, you know, wouldn't require Steven to need many months of therapy.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't make him relive this one.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. All right.
We won't do that to you.
We won't make you read it out.
we like
If you
you.
choose to read it out and we happen to listen,
Well, type it out.
to type
You do
to
not
type
have
things
to
out.
do that, Stephen. We like you. We do not want you to suffer twice. John, the latest couple of books turned into spy dramas, international conspiracies to take out the British pots and pan industries with porn.
Oh.
I'm just gonna play the podcast.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
How long is every episode? Okay. Oh my.
Mr. HEC has watched the short film The Procedure that was mentioned today. I had to wash my eyes out after watching it.
Is it one of those?
Okay, without spoiling it too much, because I'm really curious, is it worth watching? I do have it open. I have it open in a tab to watch later.
Is it gross? Or gory? Or what?
I'm assuming gross, by the way Richard was talking about it.
He said it was Valverde appropriate,
exactly,
which I
so I'm
think
assuming
means...
I'm assuming poo.
Race complete.
I do have it open.
Oi, oi, oi.
I have quite the tabs open from tonight. I have the Procedure short, I have Gilbert Gottfried 50 Shades of Grey, and I have My Dad Wrote a Porno podcast.
That's the trifecta.
First place.
They are badly written by the host's elderly father, who seems to have little grasp of human interaction, the English language, or female anatomy. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like it would be very entertaining. Did I ever tell you the story of my work experience at an elderly home?
No.
You might recognise
How
this
have I
as
known
you might recognise this as I start telling it, though.
Okay.
Because so a friend of mine from school and I were assigned to work experience to go to a nearby old folks home that was on the same street as our school, and we were ostensibly there to kind of help the nurses kind of look after the elderly people. I think, you know, we handed out food and, you know, we'd sort of have a chat with them and just be a little bit like, there was a couple of people who were war veterans and had some really fascinating stories. One of them did quite a lot of the electrical work on the HMS Prince of Wales, which was really cool. Or was it King George V? I think it was that class of battleship in World War II, and he did a lot of the work on it, which was really cool because he was pleased that I'd heard of that kind of battleship, and I was like, oh yeah. There was a certain gentleman who had been given, and you'll have to put almost everything in this sentence in scare quotes. He'd been given a computer and his own internet connection in his room, so that he could email his daughter in Canada. Right? Email his daughter in Canada, yeah? Now, his room faced it was on the bottom floor of this place, on what was the main thoroughfare of this home. And his door was pretty much always open, and the screen was facing towards the door, and his back was to the door. So he had no idea that about 2 or 3 people could see him looking up bigblackdongs.com or whatever it was. It was, yeah. It's like, okay, there's also an episode...
How have you never told me this
I've
story
never told you
in
that.
years? In 8 years.
What are you talking about? I've never told you that. I must have told you that
have
story.
not. You've never
That's one of my
told that
favourite
story.
stories.
Yeah, and somehow you've never told me in 8 years.
You see, that's the thing about knowing me, is that there's always little surprises like that. Just suddenly I'll just remember some really bizarre thing that I can't believe I've never told anyone.
God.
But we would go down there every week, and it's like, should we see if he's looking at porn? Yeah, let's see if he's looking at porn. Let's see what he's into this week.
Oh, it's
But it was a really slow dial-up connection, so literally every photo would load in like about a row of pixels at a time. So it was like, oh, the dick's this long. Oh, it's this long. Oh no, there's quite a big dick. Oh no, it's an even bigger dick. Oh, and it's going inside a girl. Okay. Oh boy. Oh Jesus Christ. I need to stop falling off that. Yeah, that was quite the cake taker of a moment. There is an episode of Red Letter Media's Best of the Worst, where the beardy guy, Wizard, or Josh, he's sometimes known as, says that he has friends who work in old folks' homes, and quote, he says, "They masturbate so much."
Oh god.
Could you catch us up on a couple of comments if you wouldn't mind?
Yes, Tigan said he was unable to find the book.
Oh,
Which
oh well,
is
that's
absolutely
okay.
fine. Thank you for
Thank you for even looking, man. Yeah, appreciate
thank you
it.
for the story. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, but oh, that was the best laugh we've had in a very long time.
That was great. That was really great.
And then John Smith says, I briefly worked as a teenager at a day center for developmentally challenged adults. Nearly died on karaoke night watching a guy sing NWA's "Fuck the Police." I'm so proud. Oh.
Oh my.
Oh.
That's amazing.
Oh god.
Excellent.
Mr. APC, wouldn't surprise me.
Police come
Grandma
straight
must
from the
have
underground.
taken
Yeah.
in the back door.
I'm surprised Grandma must have been taking it.
How? How did we get here? How did this happen? How did this happen
To me.
Oh. Barely have anything to drink.
I know.
I'd like
Well, last night it was demonically powerful vacuum toilets on a ship in this David Foster Wallace essay we're reading about cruise
that
liners.
was hilarious.
Unbelievably funny.
He was convinced that he was going to get murdered via a heavily greased, high suction cruise ship toilet.
Yeah, he
I
thought.
think that fills in all of the gaps. So
Pretty
I
much.
think you can visualize that.
Rockets.
So funny. I still think my favourite aspect of that is that this is a toilet that flushes so hard that it essentially rips your waste away from you to the point that it's now an abstraction. It's not even existentially real anymore. Oh my gosh.
Cannon.
I mean, we've all
Yeah.
unlimited food on cruise ships.
Missile.
Well, that's part of the point. Is he's saying, you know, maybe these things have to be so robust, basically because this is older people going on cruises, eating 5-course meals every night.
I don't have any particular desire to go on a cruise. But I want to do the QM2 crossing because my grandpa did the QM1. I guess
It's at the time,
Yeah.
QM1.
so. That's a there's a reason for that. I don't have any desire to take a cruise for the sake of taking a cruise. Okay, we have some details.
Yes.
I can't do it.
Can you get a sample off Amazon?
You're gonna have to read these. You're gonna have to read.
Okay. Right, she started off with the sentence, "Eva heard a noise. What was that noise?" she thought. She began to look for what the noise was, and she saw a handsome naked man standing behind her. Oi, oi, oi.
Oh, Mr. ATC. When I worked for the Princess Trust, we spent the day with the second generation of kids whose parents were at Chernobyl when the plant exploded.
Ah,
The
yes.
kids were 17, 18 years old, but looked 8 or 9 years old.
Oh man.
Oh.
Actually, when I was at school, my best friend, his family were part of a church and they were hosting for a few weeks a girl from Belarus. It's how I knew what Belarus was. I mean, she was from Belarus, but she'd grown up. She'd lived in Chernobyl, and she was basically, the implication was, she was unlikely to have a long life because of the exposure. But she was really great. I really enjoyed meeting her. We went around to, the family used to have us around to play. I think the idea was that they were the Christian missions were bringing these kids to England to kind of let them see the world a little bit before in their short lives. That's one of the better sentences.
Nope.
I'm fairly certain they're not fans of the song Radioactive by Imagine Dragons.
First place.
You're not okay with that. Look, dark jokes are a thing. It's how people cope with life.
I'm Norwegian. I know that.
I know.
Let the beat control your body.
But
I wish I could remember that girl's name. I can see her. I remember what she looked like. But yeah.
oh, God.
Guys, we did it again. We got depressing. Let's get back to telling funny porn stories. That's a pretty good story about the nursing home, though, right?
You know, I am truly amazed that I have not heard that from you in 8
I can't
years.
believe I've not told you that story.
You have not. I mean, it's nice to know there are still those.
It's one of
little
my
nuggets.
favourite ones. Anyway, back to 9/11.
Oh God.
It's the only way I coped when I worked at hospital radio. Oh my.
Oh, dark humor is necessary.
Yep, yep.
I am personally a fan. I'm just also heavy tired.
Yeah, we're both tired. We may call it after I finish this tournament, I think.
Oh, it's been going for an hour.
Yeah,
And
be good. It's been a fun.
we've had
Another
some
fun
wonderful
storm.
stories.
Yeah, I think we peaked with
Stephen Allen.
Stevens.
Oh,
Steve's-
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That was great.
Oh, we got. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for it to load here. Wait, okay, hold on. Right, so my mom decided to write this fan fiction, and you ever had cringe from looking in the eyes of someone you loved and knowing they wrote. She rode him like a black wool donkey.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow. I mean, I'm moved. I'm touched.
that kind of thing
And
changes you.
maybe that's what she felt too. She was touched. We were all touched, and then they touched each other. She touched him back.
You,
Everyone touched.
John, this is
tips.
the second.
No.
John, this is this is the second stream where you teased the off-color jokes and geek retreat. Oh, that's gonna become the running joke.
Oh no! Oh no!
Wow.
That was interesting.
Both
Two of us
screwed
got stuck there.
Mr. HSC. But yeah, there was a lady at Rowan Guard, the old folks' home I was at, and she was super nice one minute, and the next minute she threw a cup of tea at us and told us to leave her garden. Oh.
Yeah, there were sometimes some difficulties. I mean, some of these people clearly had dementia and
Yeah.
real difficulties to deal with. One of the best moments of this was a woman who was clearly freaking out, and the nurses were like, "Okay, it's time to take her back to her room where we can just kind of like separate her and let her calm down and stuff." That's basically all they can do. But she was screaming her head off. We didn't hear what she was saying until she was wheeled past the door of the room we were in, and very clearly in between, in unintelligible, I am God! Unintelligible. And all the nurses, we all caught each other's eye. I wasn't a nurse, by the way. This was work experience, so I was just a school kid. But yeah, that was a special moment. I am God. Just imagine this woman wheeling past the door, flailing her arms and yelling, "I am God." That's, yeah, it's great. I was like, "Yep, go."
Yep,
Maybe she.
you go.
I think she was. I think she was a Q or something.
Yes, she was definitely a Q.
I think that she's just buggering around with the nurses to make, to have fun.
I'll catch this up. Mr. HEC, yeah, you've got to have the Patience of a Saint to work in those places,
Yeah.
absolutely. Stephen Allen, oh, I didn't get to the best part of her book. I'm fucking in it.
You're fucking in it.
Where's the
You,
emphasis in that sentence?
yeah. Stephen,
The
are you
emphasis in
saying
that
you're
sentence.
fucking in the book, or are you fucking in it?
The emphasis in this is very important. John says, well, if you insist on walking... Oh... Well, let me read this verse
Read
in
it.
my head.
Read it. Do it.
That...
Do it. Do it.
No. I'm gonna not.
Do you want me to read it?
Go ahead.
All right. Okay. Where? Which one? Well, if you insist on walking in and seeing the clientele, I said in a far too loud voice, most men have to fly a plane into a building to be surrounded by this many virgins. Fuck's sake. That's amazing. It's good. It's a good one.
Stephen Allen.
Okay. Carrying on. That's a good one. That's a good one, though. I like it. It's fucking dark. It's great.
I'm the main character's son. There's a scene where I interrupt her main character doing something sexy to a man, and I interrupted her. Oh.
I don't know how you would deal with that. I don't know why you would do that to your own child.
Oh, there's a lot of coping.
I don't know
involved
how
with
you would.
that.
I don't know how you. What I mean. You could basically show this to a therapist, Stephen, and say, "And this is why I drink." You could just say that's all the proof I need. Just whap that thing down on the table and go, "Yep, this is why."
Oh. I'm too tired to handle everything that's happening right now.
Well, yeah. Do you need my help again? What's going on?
Oh no, nothing. Just in general.
Oedipus Rex. Oh boy. Let's not go down that. Let's not go down that road. Although in Oedipus Rex, gotta be clear. Oedipus doesn't know that Yocasta is his mother. He doesn't know, and then he finds out, and that's when he gouges his eyes out.
Stephen Allen says, I don't drink, I don't smoke, because I know if I do, I might never stop.
Okay, do you remember the episode of Green Wing where what's the character's name? Joanna, the woman who always wears a pink blouse, and kind of like stomps around in this really funny way. She goes to a therapist and he's like, now, inside the box is all your fears and hopes and dreams and your deepest feelings. Now, what I'd like you to do is just think about what's in the box and just gently open the box. And she just sits bolt upright on the bed and starts just going, ah, 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 close the box, close the box! Because of something that's recently happened on the show Green Wing. Because of something Oedipal, we will say.
Oh god, Green Wing is a great show.
Green Wing's incredible.
I know, I knew the staff. I was going to fight the owner because the guy cheated me out of money and art. I can't go down there because the stench is awful.
Is this?
Talking about Geek Retreat.
Oh,
Speaking
yeah.
of boxes full of pain, is anyone looking forward to doing?
Nice work.
Great
Nice work.
segue.
That's beautiful work, Mr. HEC. Did you used to do radio stuff by any chance, Mr. HEC? Because that's a classic link, as they say. The pain box, you know, the one with the sticks of sound of the Bene Gesserit monks and stuff.
It's funny, I want to look forward to Dune, because I think a well-made remake of that would be brilliant. I just have no faith in Hollywood these days.
Fear is the mind killer. As long as they don't do the creepy voiceover explanations of everything. Because that's slightly a weakness of that film, I think, is everything is explained by, you know... It's very textual. It's like... You can imagine that reads better than it feels in a film, you know?
I'll put it this way, I desperately want it to be good.
I'm surprised how much of the kind of essential look and design of the world seems to have a lot in common with the David Lynch one. Like even, you know, the uniforms of the House Atreides is so similar. Like it's got those kind of It's that green kind of almost German naval thing with the high collars. The Harkonnens look very similar. The Frenem obviously, you know, I don't know how detailed the descriptions are of these places, but it seems like they've kept the look of the 80s one a little bit. So yeah, I'm excited, and I like all the cast. I'm not convinced by Oscar Isaac playing the role that what's his name, the Paul Atreides,
I think
or
Steve Allen's
Leto
right,
Atreides, or whatever it is.
it would be it would be much easier to pull off as an HBO series with more time of the series and with the budget of HBO.
Yeah, that's a point. The thing is, I'm just not sure I could sit through 6 seasons of Dune the way that they did with, you know, Game of Thrones or whatever.
True.
Like, I like the idea of it being a film, I have to say. Wasn't there an attempt to make a mini-series of it? I think there was, sometime back in the 2000s. I think there was a Dune thing in the year 2000 or so. I don't think it did very well, but... What's going on?
Sorry, let me figure out where I left off. I like punch moves, the damaged version was bad.
I actually have a soft spot for that film. I actually really quite like it. Even though I obviously recognise the flaws in it, I'm not mad, but I do quite like it. Go on.
Mr. HSA says, I was going to say, Michael, does the look seem close to the books? But we actually haven't read the books.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Is I don't know anybody that's read the books. I mean, I imagine the descriptions are pretty detailed, but I was just surprised. I've seen some set photos as well, and the design of planet Caladan, which is where the Atreides clan come from. This kind of rain and it's a very oceanic, rocky kind of world. But their kind of castle that they're in, like the way that the halls of the castle are so carved and kind of ornamental, looks very, very much like the David Lynch version. And so I'm sort of surprised that it's hewing so closely to that, which I like. That's one of the things I really love about the David Lynch one. Is I think the design is really great. The only thing that doesn't hold, I mean, the worms are fantastic in the Lynch version. The only thing that doesn't hold up is the little the sand crawler vehicle that just looks like a little toy going whiz across the sand.
Oh yeah.
It's like.
Oh god, I forgot about
It's like
that.
bouncing around all over the place. It's like, oh, okay.
I thought that was
So good.
hilariously terrible.
And we've got Josh Brolin, who's taken over as Gurney Halleck, of the part that was played by Star Trek The Next Generation Patrick Stewart.
Oh yeah.
And he plays his, like, Theorbo, you know, his 7-string lute thing. Playing a tune that's probably written by Toto. Well, because Toto did the music.
Yes, yeah.
Slash, people always say Brian Eno wrote the music to Dune, but he didn't. He wrote the prophecy theme, which is the bit that plays when he's seeing visions of Chani in his dreams. You know.
Yes, indeed. I hope they bring back a really creepy little girl.
Oh yeah, and also Linda, what's her name? Who's in everything David Lynch? Linda thing. Oh god, sort of diminutive woman.
Don't ask me names.
Yeah, can't remember her name.
You're barking up the wrong.
They're gonna know. These guys will know. They know their shit.
Perfect.
Yeah, what's going on? Did you ever see the documentary on Jodorowsky's Dune? I haven't watched it, but I saw clips of it, and I think I saw a trailer of that. Yeah, no, not Laura Dern. Yeah, no, Jodorowsky's Dune is really interesting because it's this version, it's this mad, crazy big, but I think we talked about it recently. It's this crazy big budget version of Dune they wanted to do that changed hands a bunch of times, and eventually Jodorowsky wasn't doing it, and then it eventually turned into the David Lynch one that we got. but it was in development all through the 70s. And H.R. Giger was involved. They had Chris Foss, who did those amazing sci-fi art book covers for all the classic. Like, my dad still has a load of those, like the Robert A. Heinlein and E.E. Doc Smith and stuff like that. These gigantic, kind of very angelfish looking spaceships and stuff, very brightly coloured and clearly ginormous.
Let me guess, John. Puppets? I'm guessing puppets.
Look up Chris Foss, just quickly, just for your reference. And you'll see that he was quite an influence on the game Homeworld.
Yeah, definitely see it. Oh, that's just a fish.
Yeah, I love that one. That one used to be on the sci-fi books my dad has. I think he's given more away to Oxfam now, but you know, they were classic sci-fi covers. But yeah, they had him doing some designs for the Dune film. I don't think anything of his made it into the David Lynch version, which was a shame. But they also had H.R. Giger doing some very penisy designs.
Yeah, that.
Wanted it to look more like shitting and penis and hands.
Yeah, that's just a triggerfish.
It's a triggerfish. It is. Oh wow.
It's a triggerfish.
Yeah. I totally see it.
Nothing subtle going on there.
Let's do some comments.
Our art and ideas were stolen from Jodorowsky's Dune, even the Skull Planet and Guardians of the Galaxy. Interesting.
Oh really? Ah. So it's this thing that never got made, but it sort of influenced lots of stuff. That it's sort of behind the, it's behind the images of a lot of very famous films, I guess. Yeah.
John, that sounds like nightmare fuel.
Say again. Can you read his comment?
Humans dressed in rabbit costumes, being puppets and creepy with canned laughter from 60s sitcoms.
Yeah, I mean, Hodorowski's version sounded absolutely bonkers.
No, this is from a different thing.
Oh, okay.
Because earlier John had said, speaking of David, you think that there was rabbits in Dune?
I mean, I don't know. Hodorowski's a madman. He could do anything he wanted.
John said earlier, speaking of David Lynch, Annalise would hate his rabbits.
Yeah. Have you seen Twin Peaks?
No.
I kind of want to watch it with you at some point.
Okay.
It's a very strange show, obviously. I don't think there are any puppets, no.
I don't know why there would be, but that seems... Trying to get me to watch or look at things with creepy puppets seems to be a theme.
I mean, I've never actually watched any David Lynch other than the fucking Dune film, which is really kind of bad of me. I really should have seen more than that. My brother's fiance is very, very into David Lynch, so I might text her and basically go, right, I want to start all of the David Lynch films. Is it best to start with like Eraserhead and move from there, or is there a different viewing order that might be better?
Twin Peaks is weird. It has a dancing, backwards, talking dwarf.
I've seen that part. I've seen the kind of bizarre dream sequences in the Red Room. Yeah, I've seen that stuff.
Oh, I read that wrong. I read that as dancing backwards, talking dwarf.
Yeah.
In which I was confused because I assumed most dwarves talked. But it's dancing backwards, talking.
Oh, you don't start with Eraserhead.
Oh, don't start. Be prepared if you're going to watch Twin Peaks. I mean, all 3 seasons.
I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes with my brother because he got all of it on DVD and we watched it. I mean, this must have been 2 or 3 years ago. I remember some of it. I just remember Carl McLachlan being really strange and being kind of obsessed with coffee and how much he loved certain waitress bringing in coffee. Your brain will be cooked. Good. I kind of like that sort of thing. I like hallucinatory, weird shit.
Never done a drug in his life.
I don't need drugs. You do David Lynch.
I mean, mean, neither of us have, so it sounds like
I've never
David
done.
Lynch is
Okay,
gonna
no,
be a
I've never
good
done a.
theory.
Yeah, I've never done a psychoactive drug. But we've both drunk alcohol.
Okay, yes, but I don't typically consider alcohol a drug.
I mean, it is.
I don't think by technical definition it is.
Is it not? I mean, it's a thing. It's a mood-altering chemical.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. But it's
Yeah.
not psychoactive. Yeah.
But drug is an actual... There is an actual definition for what constitutes a drug, and I don't think alcohol counts. I could be wrong, but I don't think it does. Don't forget the movie Fire Walk with Me.
Right. I've heard of that one. I watched Twin Peaks because. Can you read that one?
Because some of the most beautiful women in acting are on the show.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Well, some people say alcohol is the most dangerous drug there is. They're wrong. Alcohol is not a drug. It's a drug. Chris Morris.
Okay, that's Chris Morris in the Day to Day. They're wrong. Alcohol is not a drug. It's a drink. Twin Peaks tie-in movie. Okay. Is that in the Day to Day? I feel like that was the kind of thing.
I don't know why you think I would know.
Cheryl Lee screams to the sends chills up my spine. Yeah. My brother said that he's tried to watch a lot of David Lynch, but he says David Lynch has a way of doing something that really bothers him in everything he's made. He's not sure what it is, but there's always something that really he finds off-putting.
So this...
Ed doesn't really get it. He doesn't like it.
Okay.
It's not for him, which is fair enough.
He's just kind of forced to watch it anyway.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe Becky watches it in her own time, but
Yeah. David Lynch does the uncanny.
He
As long as
does.
it's not with puppets.
he does do that.
The Elephant
Yeah.
Man is the most normal film he's ever directed. Yeah, I've definitely heard
That's
those about
a
that one.
famous one. Yeah, that's quite well known. It's not like Mulholland Drive or anything. I've seen little clips of Mulholland Drive, of course, but and a friend of mine recommended me Mulholland Drive some years ago, and thought I should watch it, which I have not seen.
I like that. The world he works in is not ours. It's pretty close.
Race
Only
complete.
so much.
Well, he's kind of surreal. He's kind of a surrealist, you know, and he is actually a visual artist as well. Like he spends a lot of his time these days. He basically spends in his studio smoking and painting and creating sculptures. Like he makes stuff a lot, which is pretty cool. I don't know too many other directors that do that sort of thing. Could you please ask the lady with the log to speak up? His easiest to watch is A Simple Story. Oh, yes, I think I saw a review of that. It's a Disney film about a man going cross-country on a lawnmower. He's pretty much an outsider artist. Yeah! I mean, as far as Hollywood is concerned, yeah, I suppose he is. As far as I understand it, you know, doing Dune was a kind of formative moment for him, because that's when he decided he hated doing studio films. And believe it or not, because he directed Dune, George Lucas interviewed him to do Return of the Jedi. It's like, can you imagine a worse idea than getting David Lynch to direct the sequel to the most well-loved sci-fi film of all time?
Yes, actually I can. Getting Tarantino to direct it.
True. Or just not planning out the sequel trilogy to those films and just ballsing it up. Getting Ryan Johnson, and fairly unknown director to just do it.
How did the idea of Tarantino doing a Star Trek film get as far as it did?
Because Tarantino he's one of those people that has immense pull in in Hollywood, and if he says he's interested in doing something, somebody will run out there and find him somebody to write him a spec script, and I think I think that's basically it. But I don't want Tarantino touching Star Trek, I have to say. I mean, there was also an idea of Tarantino doing a Bond film.
I mean, that's
Pierce Brosnan.
a little closer to making sense.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan apparently wanted Tarantino to do Casino Royale, but do it like proper black and white, and do it really quite gory and very dramatic and crazy. I think the version we got was nice.
Yeah.
It was a little bit less insane than that.
I am admittedly not a Tarantino. I completely respect people that like it. I see what they like about it. It's just, well, okay. Sometimes I see what they like about it. That's a bit of a lie.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, which one was the one I saw most recently?
Django.
Django, yes.
Django Unchained.
I don't get it. Clearly there's something there that people really like, but I just don't get it.
Have you seen Pulp Fiction?
I've not through. I've seen it in chunks. So kind of.
That is the best film, I think. I think that's his best film. Still, like it's obviously classic now, but yeah.
After Tarantino did Star Trek, a lot of barefooted Vulcan ladies will be walking around.
Oh yeah.
You don't like his constant focusing on feet?
Yeah, I've heard that he has a bit of a foot thing. Interesting.
It's his most famous film. Yeah. I've seen a few of his films and I don't.
Is it the violence, or is it kind of the acting style where
I'm
it's?
not a huge fan of the over-violence, but that's not really what throws me. It's the dramatic tone shifts. I mean, to me, the tone of most of his films, at least especially with Django, just felt schizophrenic. And I just, as soon as I had started settling into it as as a film,
it would do something like that.
It would do something nuts.
I mean, that's kind of, I think that's one of the movies where it's less well handled, arguably, in that one. I think Inglourious Bastards is a little better handled. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't watched Jackie Brown in a very long time, so I can't remember, but Reservoir Dogs, obviously.
Reservoir Dogs just wasn't my kind of thing.
Did you watch that one?
Yeah. Reservoir Dogs was a film where I could definitely see why people liked it. It just wasn't my kind of film. Django, I just don't get it. And I am fully acknowledging that that's probably on me. But
That's alright, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. I mean, I can't really say it's my thing.
But with Reservoir Dogs, I can see it and say, okay, I see why people like this, it's just not for me. Django, I just don't get why people like it. I really don't. But anyways...
I think we're going to call it here, guys.
Yes,
this has been really, really fun. We're really, really tired for some reason, I don't know. Let's just round out the last couple of comments and then we'll call it a night.
So Steven said, I should say, Mr. HEC said, the best way I can describe Tarantino is that he's a film nerd with a multi-million-dollar budget. Makes
Okay.
sense. Steven says, you want Tarantino that's done by a director who isn't so focused on going, look at all these classic shots I'm taking from, then you'll love it. John says, Tarantino's whole career is distilling what makes exploitation movies great and adding snappy dialogue. Wow, my vision is starting to go fuzzy. I'm so tired. And then people are saying good night. And Steven say, it's been fun because you were laughing at my mom's stuff.
We were.
Really were. That brought us joy. And we hope you're feeling a little bit better, Steven. Best to you. Best to you.
Love to your family. Hope you guys are okay. But
yes, indeed.
Thanks all. We will be back Maybe we'll do a Sunday stream.
Yeah,
I think it'll be good.
Stream.
We may do one
Sunday.
Sunday afternoons, and Thursdays seem to be a good time to do it.
We just don't. We don't particularly have a schedule, but that's not what this is about.
Exactly. So. This is just us goofing around, having a good time with you guys. So.
Yes, indeed.
All right, guys.
Night-night.
Until next time. Bye.